Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today. You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And
this is your Bloody Happy Hour. It's Thursday. We're singing the whole episode.
Hello.
It's Thursday. Take your shoes off, get comfy, grab a drink.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the UK and the South Africa and the Iran.
Ooh.
And the no, we're not. But
we're gonna go to Netflix first. But first, I'm drinking just a regular old White Claw. But it's a tall boy.
Vodka and lemonade. I don't know. I'm just sipping
Slackers.
on it.
We need a fridge up here so we can keep stuff in here. So Netflix.
Okay, so I this weekend started watching The Worst Roommate or The Worst Ex.
The Worst Ex.
The Worst Ex on
ever.
Netflix.
Yeah.
And it is really, I think it has a bunch of different episodes, whatever.
Series?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's not a series. It's not about one story. It's a bunch of different stories. Definitely going to have to cover some of those, but I just kept watching them. And I was like, this is great.
And it kept your attention?
And it kept my attention.
Wow.
Yeah, no trials.
A friend did say, watch it. It's totally bingeable. Like, do it.
Yeah.
But there is a worst roommate. It's really good.
That was the one with the grandma who. Yeah.
And so season 2 just came out. So I think.
Oh, well, maybe
like this
that's why
summer.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like this summer. So.
Go watch that.
Pretty good.
And
don't watch Deliverance.
Okay, tell them about Deliverance. You were just telling me about this, and I did not know about it.
So growing up, I would always like to watch. Like I've watched the original Exorcism, watched all the Poltergeist.
Yeah. I watched Poltergeist. Carol Ann.
But then like when you. After it's like all made and said and done, you hear all these horror stories about on the set or like the people that died afterwards and just all this
I never heard any of those
bad
stories.
luck that comes with it.
So like random people just started dying who worked on the set?
People that were on the set. Carol Ann's dead.
How Carol Ann did? Well, how old is the movie?
No, she died like when she was the age of Carol Ann.
Oh no! Why did she die? Because she looked too close to that screen.
She was lost in the screen, and then
because you were saying if you watch it, it opens up the portal.
So you can watch all these videos, and they're like, "Do not watch this video. Do not watch this movie. It will open up demonic portals in your house. Do not watch it. Do not watch it." So then it had like Monique, who is like one of the characters on there, and she's interviewing and she's saying like this and this and this happened while we're on set. The producers.
Oh, Monique's in it?
Monique is in it.
Oh, she gone.
Monique is in it. And I don't know that Monique, she's one of those people that says the universe all the time. So that leads me to believe that she doesn't want to give it to God. She wants to give it to the universe. So she may be an unbeliever, like nature and stuff. So then, yeah, you're really going to get
she's
possessed. No. So anyways, look on YouTube or TikTok and then see what they're saying about the Deliverance movie. Watch it if you want to, but you better have your oil and you better rebuke.
Wear your
any and
rosary.
Do your rosary.
Get your holy water.
But you know, it's always Catholics that they show that get the get like the demonic possession.
Yeah, and why is that?
And it's always the Catholic priests that come and like help them.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that was just
What about any of the other movies that were like I don't even know what it's called. Like where the whole house is like haunted by like spirits and like they're
Conjuring. So they said things happened on the set. And then to those people after doing Conjuring, The Nun. So there's certain movies, especially when they're based, like Deliverance is supposed to be based off true story.
Isn't there already a movie called Deliverance?
Yeah, but that was about some inbreds that like to eat people. This is an actual.
Could they not think of a new name?
I think that was a town called Deliverance.
Oh.
This is like deliver us from this evil.
Maybe they should have named it Deliver Us from Evil instead of Deliverance, because now it's 2 movies with the same name.
And 2 totally different movies.
Well,
watch at your own risk.
At least I'm going to watch the preview.
Watch the preview and watch the look what TikTok says about it.
I don't.
It's basically CNN.
I mean, I do. I definitely don't watch CNN. I do have a doll in the house, so I could already be like edging on the portal. You know, but the doll was a gift.
From who?
Well, it was just a joke because they just knew I did true crime, and so they got me a doll.
Yeah, it's the scariest doll.
The doll has like tears that are like permanently on the doll's face. And one of the dolls, my friend's kid dropped and its face fell off.
Oh. I hide the doll under the cabinet every time I go over.
Every time she comes over, she hides the doll.
Because it's in the bathroom, so I can't pee with the doll.
It's in the guest bathroom, like propped up like as a decoration on purpose. It just
stares at you when you're washing your hands.
To scare people and to get people to think I'm real weird. And they probably look at it and they're like, "Oh, the hell do you have this doll in here?"
I was like, this might be why you're still single.
I know. I'm like,
if they go into that bathroom.
I said, because it's funny. And they're like, no, it's weird. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm like, you touched it. Now you have the, curse. Now you're cursed.
Possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. What you got for us today?
Okay, let's go to the UK and to a couple other places around there. So this is about Carmen Thomas. She, in South Africa, so this is where she was born.
Okay.
But then she ends up moving to New Zealand and the UK and London and all these, which to me,
She's a world traveler.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much definitely not in the same place. I do know that. I know that Korea and Hong Kong are different, and I know that South Africa and New Zealand are different.
Okay, I hope so too.
I looked on the map before I did it, just so y'all know. So Carmen was like a lot to deal with like as a kid, but she was in a good way. She was loud, outgoing. She had a lot of attention on her. She loved to put on a show and dance and sing, and she's kind of like just like her own little princess. But I don't know anything about where her dad is, but all I know is that it's just her and her mom. And whenever she was 3, they moved from South Africa to New Zealand. And that's when her mom had been dating this guy or whatever, but soon after they moved there and were there for a little bit, Mama Teresa gets married. And she marries this guy, what's his name? Neville.
Okay.
But Carmen loved Neville. They got along great because she was just a 3-year-old, so.
Oh, yeah.
So they got along great. He ends up adopting her, and they just had this great relationship. But then when Carmen was 10 years old, he dies.
Oh, man.
And so she took it really hard. She was really close to him, and like things just weren't the same. She was having a hard time dealing with his death. And so then Mom was like, oh, I just really hate seeing you so upset. So let's go ahead and move to Yorkshire in the UK because they have some extended family in there.
Yeah. Family's always the answer.
So that way, it's not just like her and Mom. It's like she gets to maybe go over to a relative's house and stuff like that. So they move there. She slowly starts getting back to her old self again. And she quickly makes a lot of friends. And at this point, she's like starting to be a teenager. She starts to, do the whole party thing, get into trouble, sneaking out, just normal teenage stuff. Yeah. Literally normal stuff. Having a good time. But Mom was like, I am over your behavior. Like, you are sneaking out too much, and you're kind of just doing a little too much. Yeah. Almost doing the most.
And she's how old now?
She's in her teens. She's just like 16, 17. Yeah. So, I mean.
You don't want to lose control that early.
Yeah. So Mom was like, we're going to move back to South Africa. And she's like.
Moving is the answer to her.
Mom is always moving. And she's like, I'm about to graduate. Let me just stay here with my friends and graduate. So Mom's like, okay, bet I'm going to go. And she stayed with the relatives to finish out her like senior year. I don't know, Mom.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So
she already lost the daddy and now you're leaving her.
Yeah, like I don't understand that. So then finally she graduates high school and then she moves. I mean, this is a moving family. This is a moving couple.
Yeah.
So she moves to Southampton, which is also in the UK, and she goes there to go to college.
Okay.
So around 2002, she graduates with a degree in marketing. And then from there, she moved to London.
This is too much.
And this is where she stays. This is where she's always wanted to live, and it's kind of been her dream to live there.
The little girl, right?
Yes.
Carmen. Yeah.
So it was like the perfect place for her personality. She loved the whole nightlife, and she was a beautiful girl, and she could just charm her way into anything. So she was getting into like exclusive parties. She was being VIP. She was getting bottle service. She was getting drinks paid for, like all the things. She just was, her charismatic personality and her beauty just got her all the things. But it was one of these nights that she met this guy named Brad.
Oh, never trusted
Brad Callahan, I believe his name is. We'll just call him Brad because I'm going to say it about 14,000 times in the episode. So here we go. And he's an engineer from New Zealand.
Okay.
So Brad was a year older than Carmen and very sociable, loved having a good time, stuff like that. They had immediate chemistry. But their relationship moved pretty quickly. And within a few months, they moved in together into his apartment.
Red flag. There's already 2 red flags. The fact that his name's Brad and that they moved in together the next day.
Yes. So they were, they moved together into his apartment, and it wasn't all like butterflies and rainbows or whatever you say, because they had a little instability. They would do the whole break up, get back together, break up, get back together, break up, get back together, break up, get back together. It's a Brad thing. And some friends were like, they described their relationship as kind of volatile, but they didn't really go into detail. Like, I don't think there was
probably just arguing.
Yeah,
some, like,
just like
knock down,
probably
drag
like
out.
throwing stuff at each other and yelling and screaming and all those whatever. Yeah, they kind of were a little vague on the details, but they did think that they rushed into the relationship, and they also, the friends, thought that they were better just being friends. They were like, they're not good together. They just need to be friends. They don't need to be together. Okay. So, in 2004, there's a turning point. Carmen's pregnant.
Oh, he has to trap her.
So this was like, okay, we're going to fix our relationship. Now we're pregnant.
A baby fixes everything.
A baby fixes everything. I'm about to go have one. I don't know what I'm fixing, but I'm fixing something because that's what babies do. So they were like, yeah, we want to have a stable environment for the baby, and we got to get back together. And we both came from broken families, or like his parents were divorced, her parents, like her dad was missing, and then her stepdad died and all the things. So they just wanted to keep it together.
Wait, her first dad was missing?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Absent. I don't know. He was not in the story.
Okay.
So I just said missing. He was absent. So they didn't want their kid to go through the same thing. But, as one could guess, they continued to fight, and they're like, we can't make it work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And they figured it would be better for baby Jack's baby.
Okay.
To have parents that were separated and happy rather than together and fighting and yelling. Okay, which is
co-parent
good.
Well. Yes.
So they were like co-parent. They were like both very committed to co-parenting. They were amicable. They were like, their lives were revolving around Jack, and they were able to put their like personal feelings aside and just be there for Jack, baby Jack.
Good.
Could you imagine like breastfeeding Jack? You're like, hey, Jack, come here. I don't know. It's one of those old people names, or not old people. But
Can I tell you that I had a dream that I was still breastfeeding? And so in my dream, my boobs were filling up with breast milk, and like they kept leaking on my shirt. So I'd have to like change my bra because that's what they do. Yeah. And then I was like, but then I felt it in my dream. Like I was like, oh, my boobs were producing. So then I woke up and I thought I was pregnant, and I was all paranoid.
Hell,
but I don't even got I don't even got a uterus anymore. So my mom says, maybe you miss your kid. And I was like, oh, maybe so. I hadn't breastfed him in a long time.
You need a break because he needs a feeding. He went back to college.
He's hungry.
He went back to college and he's hungry. Oh.
We divert.
Poor Trent. So not too long after, they realized that they were going to, do a co-parent. Brad ended up moving back to New Zealand for work. So I don't know where they were. They were living. He was in New Zealand, and maybe I don't know how far New Zealand is from wherever they are.
Yeah,
so here,
maybe
the thing. So she ends
probably
up
just a train ride.
Yeah, in 2008. So I guess he's probably Jack was born in 2005. So for a few years they were together, or they were like living near each other or together. He moves back to New Zealand. Then she eventually follows him and goes to New Zealand to live like a mile down the street from him. Not that she's like following, but she just wants her
To be
son
close, yeah.
to have his father in his life. And so they agreed, okay, you'll move here and I'll move here, and that'll be easy. It's like a week in a week kind of thing. So this arrangement worked out great. It was a mile away. That was perfect. All the things. So by 2010, so a couple years later, Brad starts dating somebody else, and Carmen loved the girl, and it was still no issues with the new girlfriend, blah, 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 nothing. And then the next thing you know, Brad's girlfriend is pregnant.
Oh.
And so Carmen was actually excited because she's like, oh, good, Jack will have a sibling.
So there's no love there. I love it.
She is totally
She's done.
Done. Yeah.
Okay.
But it could be because of what she's doing, like what her job is at the time, which I'll tell you in a second.
Uh-oh.
It all seemed well. And then it's 2010, he finds out that he's expecting whatever. June 29, 2010, it was Brad's week to have Jack. Well, Brad has Jack for the week, and then he goes to bring Jack back or calls Carmen to come pick up Jack. Carmen doesn't answer. Texts her. Carmen doesn't respond. And this is on June 29th. Goes by the house. Carmen's not there, and her car's not there. So he was like, well, that's weird. She's supposed to pick up Jack or get Jack. So he just kept calling her, no response. He asked some friends if they'd seen her. No friends have seen her. And finally, after it had been 2 weeks.
You usually wait about 2 weeks before
contacts police
file a
and
missing person
reports
report.
her missing.
Well,
and she didn't. You would think, like, is there nobody that missed you for 2 weeks?
yeah, where's your mama? Traveling the world? She
Yeah,
forgot about
she
you a long
traveled the
time
world.
ago.
Yeah, she done. And also, Carmen at this point was an escort.
I was going to guess she was a sugar daddy.
Sugar baby.
Sugar baby. And she had a sugar daddy. So, escort. And it's legal there. And you get insurance.
Oh, hell, I'm moving.
Yeah. It's legal.
Goodbye. So, police are actually taking the disappearance very seriously. They are DTF.
I
almost said they're BTK. Yes, no, they do. They start.
So they
right
care
away.
about their prostitutes
Yes,
over
they
there.
do. And I don't. At
We
this point, they
don't.
didn't know that
Okay.
she was an escort. An escort is different because it's a high class kind.
Oh, she was.
It's like where
rich
you're.
men.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like being on Raya versus Bumble. So dating apps.
How do you know what Raya is?
Because
It's a dating app or
for
it's a
fame.
escort?
Like you have to have like a certain income, or you have to be a certain level of famous, or you have to be like bougie to have
And
that.
you have to show proof?
I
Because
think I don't know. I've
see
never
Dirty
tried.
Chad on it and lying.
No, not on. Oh, well, that's
Raya.
true.
Yeah.
I think they would see his picture and be like, no. So they're doing their investigation, and police end up finding Carmen's car abandoned in this city called Hamilton, which is about an hour away from where they live in Auckland. These are all New Zealand's places. So they live in Auckland. Her car is now found in Hamilton, which is an hour away. So they live in Waco, and her car is found in Dallas, let's just say.
Yeah.
Great. So someone in the area reported an unfamiliar car parked in a residential area. That led to the discovery of the car and the recovery of it on July 13th. Okay, so June 29th is when she was missing. He didn't even report it for 2 weeks later. And then somebody said that they saw and that was July 13th.
I almost took Brad's red flags away, and he just gained a third.
Yeah, he'd be gaining. In the car was a packed suitcase along with 2 mysterious envelopes. One had a note kind of implying that there was a debt owed, and then one of them had cash in it. And like I said, she was an escort, and it seemed that she owed money to somebody named Misty. But at this point, Brad was like working super close to the police. He was being very...
Oh, injecting himself in the investigation?
He was being very cooperative.
Red flag.
So they didn't, think he was involved in any way because he was just being very cooperative. And he informed them that her work name, her professional name, her escort name was Misty. So that's why the envelope said Misty, because it was labeled to her as she's Misty.
So Brad knew she was an escort this whole time?
So she was an escort, and then she had stopped being an escort, and then he didn't realize that she had started again.
Okay. That pissed him off.
And I'm thinking that's what pissed him off. And this is kind of like, it just, yeah.
Is this from your show you're watching?
No.
Okay.
This is just randomly, I came across it, and I listened to it, and I actually kept my attention. So then I was like, oh, I like it.
Okay.
So police thought, okay, maybe like Carmen could have had a bad experience with a client, which is not uncommon in that like type of very, not scandalous, but high risk kind of a job, right?
Yeah.
It's high risk. And so after finding those notes in the car, they're like, okay, let's go check her apartment. So they check her apartment. They see a little bit of blood in some places, but then they're like, let's get the luminol out.
Yeah.
We got to see. So there is blood that looks like it may have been cleaned up. There's smears and droplets in the bathroom and in the dining room area. And there was also this strange oily residue in the kitchen. And I still don't know what that would be from, unless it was just like
Olive
cooking
oil?
oil.
Avocado oil?
I wonder. Oh, okay. To be continued. So Carmen had texted some friends and I guess her manager in the early part of July. The 29th is when she's missing. But she's not missing because she's not technically been called, like it still had been right? So this is early July. She's still texting with her friends. She's just saying she needs a break and she's going to be in Hamilton for a while. Okay, this is kind of
her texting her manager.
Yes,
okay.
Her texting some friends and manager. And her friends were kind of suspicious about the text because they seemed like a little weird, like it wasn't how she typically texts. Because like, some people will be sticklers on spelling things properly
if you
and
say
punctuate
K or okay.
Exactly.
That's a big difference.
Yes. And if you like don't add your apostrophes or your commas or your periods or exclamation marks and stuff like that. They just felt like it was out of character for the text messages and for her to leave her son. They're like, she would never leave Jack.
Okay.
And along with the blood that they found, they also found an unknown person's DNA on the suitcase and then on the envelopes that were found in her car, which suggested the involvement of another person, but they didn't know who it was yet.
Yeah. Meanwhile, mom's still traveling, don't even know she's missing.
No, mom still probably don't know.
Yeah. She's in
Oh, she eventually
Ireland.
does find out actually in maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks. Police start searching the CCTV footage in Auckland, Hamilton, and like other areas that are close to where she might be. And they find her on some footage at a farm near her home and at a grocery store the day before she disappeared, wearing a blue scarf, acting normal, leading them to issue. They're like, well, they saw her on video. I think it was like at the end of June is when they saw her on video in Hamilton. And so they were like, okay, well, she was here then and she was acting fine. Like what are we missing? What are we missing? So they start go to the public and they're like, okay, we are looking for whatever certain items, because I don't think I don't think they had her phone or her keys. And I know that this is whenever her mom did start pleading on like TV for her safe return. It's mid-July by then.
Let me get back from Barbados and go find my missing daughter.
She finally got back from, Greece, and she came back and was like pleading for the safe return for her daughter. But suspicions towards Brady Poo started to rise because new information started coming out.
Oh.
And Carmen's disappearance was now being treated as a murder, not a disappearance.
Okay.
Because when that happens, I know whenever they all of a sudden, like the police will just tell you all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're no longer looking for somebody missing. I guess because they have the evidence, they just don't have enough. It's, I guess, circumstantial, but they don't have enough to prove it. So they can't, so they know that they are dead, but they don't know who did it or where or whatever.
This is no longer a missing persons investigation. This is now a homicide investigation.
Yes.
Okay.
The worst. So, this is whenever Carmen's apartment landlord comes forward.
Okay, landlord.
And I don't know why it took.
He was a sugar daddy at one point.
This was a man landlord. I mean, a woman landlord.
Oh.
And the landlord actually lived right next door to her apartment.
Heard the bed creaking all the time.
All the time. She loved it. She came forward and reported it to the police that on June 29th, the day that she went missing originally, that landlady was sitting in her own apartment. She heard a large argument next door. And she heard a little bit of shouting and screaming and noises, and she probably thought they were just doing rough, but
yeah,
she didn't really know. She was like, okay, she would kind of like wait till it get quiet, and she's kind of listening, just like, what's going to happen next? Like, whatever. And then a little bit of time goes by, and she goes out, and she kind of starts peeking through. I think she's peeking through her window to look through her window because she didn't go outside yet. But she's peeking through the window. She said it looked normal inside, but there was a garbage can, and there was I don't know why you would think a garbage can is normal on the inside, but it's fine. There's a garbage can bin, like a trash bin, I guess, and a laundry rack, like if you're hanging your clothes to dry, like a half.
Yeah.
Laundry horse. It had been knocked over, and the trash can is knocked over, but nothing else really stood out.
Inside the house.
Inside the house.
Okay. I heard arguing. Okay, well, she was just like, I'm just gonna mind my business. She pays her rent on time.
So then she notices outside that Brad is outside just standing by the driveway. But he's standing there. And it was really strange because he's wearing his boxers and a t-shirt. Ooh. And he's holding his jeans and his shoes. And he looked like he had just gotten out of the shower. But his shirt looked like it had blood all over it. And so she goes up to him and she was like, what happened? And he explained that Carmen had been sick. And previously in life, she had been diagnosed with some type of cancer. And she had to go through a little bit of treatment, and she would get sick every now and then just from, I don't know. She was over the cancer. Yeah. She beat the cancer, but I guess it wasn't abnormal for her to throw up and blood be in her throw up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he was saying, well, she was throwing up, and that's how I got some of her blood on my shirt, but she's okay now. She's just in there, and she's resting, and she's sleeping, and she's sick, and blah, blah, blah.
I'm just in my boxers. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
He was probably convincing. Them Brads, they're good liars, and they're very convincing.
Very true. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, landlady was a little suspicious. She's like, I don't know.
I hope so, landlady.
So later that day, she was like, okay, I do not feel good about this. I'm going to text Carmen, and I'm going to just be like, hey, are you okay? Like, is everything okay? So she texts Carmen. Carmen responds and says, yeah, I've been really sick this week. I went to the hospital for a bit, heading down south for a week off. Will be back sun. S-U-N, not Sunday.
Oh, and Carmen doesn't abbreviate.
Carmen does not abbreviate.
She has to write the whole word.
She has to write the whole word. And whenever she said hospital, she wrote HOSP.
No.
Can you not even text the rest of the letters?
Or Cindy a hospital emoji?
It writes the word for you. So this is a text that multiple friends are getting. And they're like, this is not how she texts. And she stopped texting a whole bunch. Like she barely was texting anybody. And it was just all this weird stuff. So now people are like starting to look at Brad.
Please do.
So in late July, Carmen and Brad's phones were always near each other, which is weird. This is late July. She went missing June 29th. So why are they together? And it shows from records that in the beginning of July, they just were texting back and forth a bunch. And those messages were
gone
from Carmen and Brad, but they were in the same place.
Oh.
So like it's like me and you in the same room right now just texting each other for hours. Like why I'm gonna text you when I'm sitting right next to you, I can talk to you. I'm just gonna text you.
Yeah. Setting that up.
Mm-hmm. And this is also whenever she was texting her friends, and that's when they started noticing that the writing style had changed, shortening words in the text, spelling words wrong, using weird abbreviations, all stuff that was unusual for her.
So if you get text from me and my spelling is all correct and my grammar is all correct.
Oh, I definitely know it's
red
not
flag.
you. It's for sure. If
If there's no mistakes, then you know
if it's
not
past
me.
8 o'clock and I'm texting gibberish, that's completely normal.
Yes.
If I'm texting like full sentences, like of full mind and sound after 8 o'clock, you know it's not me.
It's not you at all.
So we know now.
And then if you're, sometimes you don't even text past 8 o'clock.
I don't.
Because you're in bed by like 10.
I know. I've been going to bed so late lately. I don't know why I have not been able to fall asleep. Maybe the weather's changing. So police they finally like get his phone and they are like seeing where it was certain times of the month and like weeks before. And they noticed that he had been making these like strange late night drives to like around Auckland, like the area that they lived.
Oh, is he
during times when he wouldn't normally go. Like maybe he went to the grocery store or he went to a store during the time where he should be at work or something like that. And they this was when they were like, okay, there's blood. There's this weird stuff that happened with the landlady that she told us. And now he's making these weird trips. Let's go back again and look at CCTV at these different stores around town to see if he like purchased anything. Well, turns out he did. And it was on June 28th, the day before she went missing, that he purchased trash bags, cleaning supplies, you know.
Just the basics.
The basics.
He's just going to do a good deep clean.
Yeah. And this was what led to, they're like, okay, now we got to do some searching. And because we don't have anything concrete, we got to do some searching. So Brad was an engineer, and he was a structural engineer.
Okay.
So he worked in construction, and one of his coworkers had reported seeing him get to work extra early one of these days to the construction site without his normal work clothes on, or he didn't have any of his safety equipment on either. And this coincided with the day that, I don't know anything about construction, but let me just tell you this, and you might. He was there acting kind of weird, dressed kind of weird, not with his stuff. This was the same day as whenever a steel rod was found to be too long during the concrete pouring, which could lead to structural issue that could impact a building's integrity. And Brad, being a structural engineer, was like, no, just ignore it and move on, which was weird. So basically this like steel pole, as I understand it, It's supposed to go all the way and, fit all the way in the hole, but it wasn't going all the way in the hole. Like something was stopping it from going all the way down. So then they're like, is there a body in the hole?
Uh-huh. Are the concrete workers coming and saying this now? Like,
yeah, well, they were like, well, it was weird. He showed up here. He was dressed this way. And he was like here extra early. And he doesn't get here that early. And he was here extra early.
To make
and
sure
then
that
that's his job is to make sure that.
It.
And so he's the structural engineer. So like he should be super extra careful about, you want to make sure the pipe goes all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
You don't want just the tip. You need the full thing.
Never the tip.
Mm-mm. And you don't just ignore it. And then on top of that, close by where these construction workers, they'll eat lunch outside or whatever, there was a very, very smelly trash can.
Oh,
trash bin, I should say.
Okay.
Because they call them bins over there.
Bins.
So
Flats.
it was like kind of where they ate lunch and they're like, man, what is this smell? It's so bad. We're going to have to go eat lunch over there because over here it smells so bad. They're like, what is in this trash can? So they look in the trash can and they find like all these bags and they're like, gross. Close it and just move on. Bert. It was a bird. So they close it, they move on, and they're like, we're just going to leave all that stuff inside and we'll just tell the police. And eventually the smell went away and they were like, okay, well, we don't know what's going to happen with that, blah, blah, blah. So this is like, we're like July. This is like all happening in the month of July.
Yes.
Okay, so it's beginning of September and the trash can turned up again.
The same one?
The trash bin. Yes. A neighbor who lived 2 doors down from Brad said somebody's trash can had showed up in his yard or like on his sidewalk or whatever, because we have the big trash bins and he had an extra one. He was like, this is not my trash bin. I have an extra trash bin.
Wait, when they were smelling the trash bin, where were they? At the apartment or at the construction?
At the construction site.
Okay. So this is the same trash bin that's been all over.
Oh, yeah, because it was real.
Because it was in her apartment, right?
Yes.
Now it's at the construction place.
Yes.
Now it's at a random person's house.
Yes.
That's why he's driving all over town.
Yes. So the police go and they go to pick up this trash can. They're going to investigate this trash can. So in this place, I don't know if this is how our trash cans are, but they have numbers, I guess, that are like a sticker with the numbers on it that's like lets you identify like which house it belongs to or who's the owner or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it was completely scratched off. Like, when the actual dumpster grabs the trash can and it makes those like scratches from the metal arm thingies or whatever. It kind of looked like that, but it was like definitely intentionally scratched off.
Okay.
Well, little did Brad know that the police have a way of using heat to heat up that area that had been scratched out, and it somehow can reveal permanent markings that have been on plastic. So then they get the full number of the trash can, and then they connect it to where it belongs, which is his house.
Oh, it was his own trash can.
Yes.
Dumbass.
No, it was Carmen's trash can.
Okay.
It was her house. So they're like, why is Carmen's trash can over at this guy's house? And this trash can's been all over the place. This is the traveling trash can.
It is.
So there were no new leads at the work site. They finally went back to investigate that, and they found nothing. The whole steel pipe thing, we don't know why the pipe didn't go all the way in, but there was nothing in there under there that they needed. There was nothing in there. They found nothing. They were hoping they were going to find. They were hoping they were going to find something at the construction site.
Oh shit!
Buried under that steel pole, but they did not. So whatever. I don't know what happened with that. But then they were going to go back to July 2nd. So we're just living in July. The trash can was found in September, but now it's rewinded a little bit to July.
Okay.
So Brad had a friend that he had called, and he was like, hey, can we go like on the boat tomorrow? And he was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And he's like, okay, can we go like at 5 a.m.? And the friend's like, no, bro, I'm not going that early. Like, I'll meet you at 9.
How is that even
not
fun?
Going at 5. And I guess I guess they boat in the ocean. This is the ocean. This is not a lake. So, they get there, and Brad seemed to be, he just was not acting weird, and the friend said that he looked terrible. He looked like he hadn't slept or showered in days. And the friend was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I'm in very serious trouble."
Oh shit! Dump these bags off the water.
And he
Scott Peterson
straight up told his friend he killed Carmen. He says, "I killed Carmen and I need help dumping her body."
And the friend did it.
The friend did not do it, and the friend did not do it. But the friend did not do anything else either, friend.
Oh, he was a good friend.
So then the friend is like, "Wait, what?" Brad opens the trunk of his car, whatever he drives, I don't know. He shows the friend multiple plastic bins that have been filled with, it's concrete, right? Yeah, filled with concrete. And they each had body parts in the bins of her that he had cut up and put in these bins and then filled them with cement.
What? Ken and Barbie?
So it's like a couple bins had had legs. One bin had the torso. One bin had like the head and the feet. Chopped the fuck up. Yes. And he wanted the friend to help him dump them in the ocean. So they unload the bins
And they do it.
into the boat.
Oh.
And they're driving out in the ocean.
He had a chance to get away.
This friend, anonymous, unidentified friend, is driving the boat and then is like, "Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it." Turns around and is like, "Sorry, bro.
Oh, okay.
Can't do it." So they have to like awkwardly unload these big, huge plastic bins and put him back into his car. Great. Good job. So friend refused to participate, yet he did not call the cops.
Oh.
So then Brad tries some other friends. He's like, "Hey, friend, I need like what was he saying? He needed kerosene.
Now I want to burn up the cement.
He wanted, oh, yeah. He's asked one of his other friends, "Can you please bring me 3 black bags and a bottle of kerosene? Keep quiet."
I'm going to send you that text.
Keep quiet. The associate brought the kerosene.
He brought it.
And met Brad outside of the grocery store, where this is where he had purchased. This is where they found him on camera purchasing the trash bags and the cleaning stuff.
I want everybody out there to go to their best friend text and text. Read it again. What did the text say?
Can you please bring me 3 black rubbish bags and a bottle of kerosene?
But keep quiet about it. ...
Keep it quiet.
And I need to hear all the responses.
Can you please bring me 3 black bags and a bottle of kerosene? ... Keep it quiet. Send it to like 4 friends right now.
I am.
So over the days, okay, let's see. So once he got that stuff, his friend got that stuff, whatever, this stupid friend got all the stuff. And that's whenever he had gone to the apartment to try to wipe up all the stuff, cleaning all the blood splatter, the evidence. And this is when he starts to put the stuff in the trash can inside the house after he had cleaned it all up. Yes. So.
Okay, say it again. I'll send him my text.
Oh, okay. So let's see, multiple friends.
So the friend brought the shit over.
The friend brought the stuff. Brad starts cleaning the apartment, cleaning up all the blood.
Oh, so he's saying bring this to me at Carmen's
I think
house?
that he might have just been at the store in the Walmart, but he just is like, hey, friend, can you go grab me this and this? And so maybe but I thought they saw him buying it. So he must have gone inside the store with his friend to buy the stuff.
Or this is after they've already attempted to.
Well, remember, we went back because
backwards.
September is whenever they figured out that they had considered her a homicide.
Yes.
So then we go back and we're like, okay, what did he do? So on July 3rd, when she went missing on the 29th of June, July 3rd is whenever he asked his one friend for the boat.
So he tried to be Scott Peterson.
He tried to do he tried to do it on the boat. Friend wouldn't dump him with him. And then he calls his other friend. He's like, hey, we need to get these trash bags and this cleaning stuff. And then the friend helps him get all that stuff or something. Keep it quiet.
Uh-huh.
Then he goes with the stuff and he starts cleaning up the apartment, cleaning the blood. And he's putting all the evidence and whatever in the trash can. But he's putting her body pieces in these trash bags, then put the trash bags in the trash can, then loads the trash can into his car.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when he eventually
takes it to the different places.
Goes wherever, and then eventually puts the body parts in different little mini containers, and then I guess leaves the trash bin, the big main one, first. He probably did that at the construction site.
Yeah.
And then that's where they were smelling it. And then he brought it back over to the neighbor's house and left it in the neighbor's house. So he's doing the most.
Mm-mm.
This is what he's doing in those 2 weeks before he even said she was disappeared.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So he's doing all this within those couple weeks. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. So he was disposing, and this is how he's trying to cover it up and blah, 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 blah. So, all these, and I think he even, there was another friend. I think there was 3 or 4 friends that he told. Why none of them reported it, I will never understand. I don't care if
code.
There is no code for me. I am not trying to testify,
goodness.
and I'm not trying to be an accomplice.
That is.
So if you don't tell me that you killed somebody, because I'm gonna freeze, and then I'm gonna do the
you won't
Homer
even
Simpson
respond.
into the bush. I'm
You
just
would
gonna
not
hide into the
respond.
bush. Yeah, But if you tell me to my face, I'm gonna hide it. I'm gonna be like, I gotta go, and then I'm gonna call the police. I don't know. I'm gonna make sure I'm safe because you might kill me because you don't kill somebody else. So all these tips start coming in. Now the friends are like, oh, I guess we probably should tell since she's dead and chopped up, and so they tell all this information, which led to Brad's arrest in connection to her disappearance. And even though the body was not found, they haven't found the body. We don't even know where these bins went yet. Okay, and he's still saying not guilty. He's being arrested. They don't have the bins, but they do have the friends. So now that they have the friends coming forward saying this, they can officially arrest him.
Okay. So,
WTF happened. So after breaking up. This is what we think happened, okay? He had found out that she was being an escort again.
Mm-hmm.
They got into an argument, they got into a fight. And according to him, he snapped. There was a baseball bat.
He don't remember.
He blacked out. He remembers before and after, but he snapped. He just hit her in the head, blow to the head, knocks her out, and then hits her 8 more times till she's dead. Because as he was leaving after their argument, she says, allegedly, according to him, this is just his story, that he says, well, you're not even Jack's dad.
Oh.
And that's apparently what pissed him off.
His trigger.
So that's what we say could be the motive.
Oh,
So-
wait. I got a DTF friend. She says, well, where you at? I'm at the team dinner about to leave now.
She is down to cover your tracks. Be like, I need bleach and kerosene. Say, can you also get zip ties? So after okay. They've arrested him, and now they're like searching his car, and they find all the clues in the car. They find that he's torn the carpet out of his car. He's like tried to replace with other carpet that would fit. They notice that they're like, it smells like decay in here, decay and air freshener. They
wait, in the what?
In his car.
In his car, okay.
They rip up this carpet that he had like put down, and they notice that the cushion below is like stained in blood, and they find a mark on like the window or the windshield of the car that looked like okay. If you're rolling a trash can that's at a school and it has those 4 metal balls that are wheels,
yeah.
It's like one of those.
Okay.
It almost was like an impression of it somehow on the car. I guess he hit the trash bin wheel on the car, and it matched up to the same wheel mark matched up to the trash can mark.
These police are pretty legit.
They are.
They have been working since the beginning.
So they found a mark on the car that looked like a wheel impression from the trash can. They matched it to the trash can that had been tested. And the blood in the trash can and in the car matched to Carmen's DNA.
Thank you.
So it was clear at this point that he murdered Carmen and put her in the trash can. He put the can in the car, and while driving, the can opened and spilled blood out into the back seat.
That'd be my luck. That'd be my luck.
He then dumped her body, later cleaned up the car, and used air freshener to cover up the smell.
Fabrice.
It don't work that well. So then they look at the writing from the note. Remember they found those like envelopes in her car, and one had Misty on it and one whatever had nothing on it. But then they were like, oh, this is Brad's handwriting, which it looked way female of a handwriting.
Oh,
it was
okay.
that was the handwriting was a red flag.
Oh yeah, he's already got, that's his 5th one then.
Yeah. So that was another piece of evidence. And then apparently on his computer, he was searching blood, how to commit the perfect crime, how to clean blood, murder, etc.
Premeditated.
So despite appearing to be totally fine around, his actions like didn't show like that he had any remorse or anything. But he's arrested. He has some attorneys. He pleads not guilty. But then his attorneys go to the police and they tell the police where the body is buried, even though he's not guilty.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do it, but I know where the body is.
Yeah. Police find Carmen's dismembered body in a wooded area in West Auckland, buried in multiple shallow graves with her torso, arms, legs, and head placed in separate plastic bins filled with concrete.
Oh my
The
goodness.
same bins he was trying to load onto the boat to drop into the ocean, but the friend turned around and didn't do it. So over these days, I think they said it was, however, those couple of weeks, he had cut her body into 8 pieces to prepare for the disposal. Cut her knees at the knees, cut her hips at the hips, and arms and head were also severed.
We say this every time somebody gets cut up, but I do not want to cut through a chicken.
I don't even like breaking off a chicken wing off of a full chicken.
Yeah, like when you get the rotisserie
and you have to pull the leg off, and I'm like, could you imagine sawing a human
through?
I kind of want to watch though.
I don't like messes.
Like, how do you do that? And like, there should have been so much more blood.
And then why is everybody doing that now? Like, it is not worth. You do it in the bathtub because you think all the water's just going to go down the drain. But, you're
No.
more likely going to get rid of if you just leave the body right there.
Yeah.
That's my best friend.
She's calling. She's like, why do you need to know? Why do you need the kerosene? You got to answer it on air.
Hello?
Where you at?
Downtown. Are you going to bring that stuff?
Yeah, where downtown where?
At the Alico? You're being recorded. Look.
Oh. Don't do that. Do not do that.
This was part of the story, and this guy like killed his ex, and he texted his friend and was like, that exact text that I sent you, and I said, oh, okay, let me see it. Let me try it out. So I read your response, and I was, well, shit, she's down for whatever.
I was confused. I was like, well, what are we doing? I didn't know.
It didn't even sound like a red flag. What'd you think I was doing?
It did, but I didn't want to say, well, what happened? And then I'll be recorded through text message. So I was like,
She was thinking.
let me know. And then when I got there, I would ask questions.
Oh, okay. Well, you did good. Love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
She's like, I hate you. So, yeah, he ended up, okay. So he ended up getting charged with murder and perverting the course of justice after attempting to cover up Carmen's death by messing up the investigation, lying to police, and asking friends to lie. Brad knew where Carmen was, but tried to hide his tracks. He got 6 years for perverting the course of justice, and he got a life sentence with possibility of parole after 13 years.
You know,
Because the judge believed that he had a bright future.
what? You know,
So,
I can't. Judge.
On September 21st is when he was charged with the murder. October 1st, police were directed to the graveside of the body. They found the body, and they were able to then determine that she had died from multiple blows to the head, with the fatal blow causing a compressed fracture of the skull. And her parents were able to at least have a funeral. And now the baby Jack, is now living in an undisclosed location with, I guess, her family.
Hopefully not the mama, because the grandma's just gonna leave him too. Let me hush.
But
She lost her baby. I'm just playing. But he had a baby on the way too.
I know, and
the jury was like, he's a dad. He's got a baby on the way. We don't need another baby without a father. I don't like it at all. He must complete rehabilitation before parole eligibility in 2025.
okay. Well, on the New Zealand Herald.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So that is the story of Carmen Thomas and her crazy ex, Brad. Never trust a Brad.
Never trust a Brad. Or anybody who wants to move in that quick. But you know what? He was moved. This is what I understand. It's behind jealousy. It has to be, because he found out she was a prostitute. But you were moved on. You were having a baby. Like, you were all the way moved on. So why did you give a shit if she was making money off her poontang?
He couldn't let it go, I guess. I don't know. This is why I don't
Men
think
can do it, but they can't take it.
Yeah.
Always. Always, always. And then he was probably even more pissed that he didn't give a shit that she was moving on, or she didn't give a shit that he was moving on.
That's true.
And having a kid, and like she was just living her best legal prostitute life.
legal prostitute life.
Poor
I
little
thought I
Jack.
could deal with everything myself. I couldn't. I was extremely stressed and emotional. I was very good at portraying that everything was okay, and it wasn't.
That's Jack. I mean, that's Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good story. Good story. Okay.
So there you go.
There
There's
you
all your red
go.
flags.
We have now gone to the UK and New Zealand.
Dismembering her body was an extraordinary thing to do. The refusal to accept responsibility, the persistent attempt to involve other people in your deception was extraordinary. This is extremely rare. The question is, why did you do all of that?
Rejection. She did not.
I
want him
initially
anymore.
panicked. I wish I had got caught right away. Everything I did was a deeper hole.
It was like
He claimed that he had no intention of cutting her up. He put the dead woman in her own wheelie bin. Wheelie bin. And hoisted it into the back of his car. And then he became desperate and he thought of dismembering her. Oh, this is like a recent article. I know this sounds callous, but it was never meant to disrespect her. From my point of view, it was merely a means to an end in trying to dispose of the body. My intention was to make it easy to transport, to put on a boat. I didn't have some kind of vicious intent to hurt her even
No,
further.
at all.
Even though I did, I was just desperate. I had Carmen in a wheelie bin in a boat. You
can't take it serious when he says
Listen,
wheelie bin.
I had Carmen in a wheelie bin in the boot of my car, and I was so desperate. I know how horrendous and horrible it is. At the time, I was extremely selfish. I wasn't thinking about Carmen or her family or your son
or your kid with her.
Oh, I'm generally not an emotional person, but when I become emotional, I can't handle myself.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. But when is he getting out? We do not consider any form of
Parole
blanket order
2025.
prohibiting. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Sir Ron rejected the suggestion paying the parole board was a public blah blah blah. Public has the right to know what happened in the hearing. Okay, so this is the parole hearing was a public hearing, and that's when all this came out.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Damn. So there you go.
Good story. There's no telling what we're going to talk about next week.
There's really no telling.
No telling. Atlanta rapper Rich Homie Quan has died at the age of 34.
What? They were just talking about him in the trial.
He has died. How did he die?
They were just talking about him at the trial. If he wasn't testifying if he's in jail, he got killed in jail because he snitched. Oh my gosh. Let's end the show. I got to figure this out.
All right, we'll see y'all next week. Don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production. Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.